with Walla Stamping. Thanks for joining me today, guys. So this is a last minute gift tag project that I wanted to share with you today. Since Christmas is literally less than a week away, I wanted to give you an idea of a gift tag that you could make on the fly if you were headed out the door to grandma's house and remembered that there was that one last gift that you forgot to put in a gift bag or wrap and you're out of gift tags. So I'm going to do this one for you, but I am going to change it up just slightly. I stamped in Cherry Cobbler on top of this Cherry Cobbler, and it doesn't stand out enough. So I'm going to change up the sentiment just slightly, but keep everything else the same. So let me set this aside and I will show you what you're going to need to create this project. Our first piece of cardstock is Emerald Envy, and this is cut at 5 by 2 3/4. And our second piece of cardstock is Cherry Cobbler, and this is cut to 4 by 2 1/4. Then we have the Presents and Pinecones Designer Series paper, and this is cut at 4 1/2 by 2 1/2. And I have a piece of Whisper White, and this is cut at 3 by 1. The stamp set that I used is the 10 of tags, and I've used Surprise. And of course, you know that there's rarely a project that goes by that I don't have glue dots, so I've used that. I'm going to be using the Cherry Cobbler ink, and I have my sentiment placed on a C block. You're also going to need the Cherry Cobbler and Gold Baker's Twine out of the Baker's Twine Trio pack. So those are the supplies. Oh, and I almost forgot a 1/16 inch hole punch. So to begin this project, the way that I do this, now let me start by saying this little banner edge that you see here, Stampin' Up! Actually has a punch that you can do that with, just like that. But that is an item that I have not purchased for myself yet. It is on my wish list, but there's so many other things that I have wanted to get my hands on prior to that one. But after having made this tag today, it's definitely going to go on my next shopping spree. So anyways, I'm going to show you the way that I accomplished this banner look without the punch, but just be advised that getting the punch is a lot quicker and a lot simpler. So let's get started on creating that banner edge to this gift tag. And by the way, this is the last video on Gift Tag Tuesday. Now, I may pick this up again after the first of the year because there are birthdays and Valentine's and different events that go on through the year outside of Christmas that you need a gift tag for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my largest piece, and that's the Emerald Envy. I'm going to line my Designer Series paper on top of it, making sure the bottom edge is even, and then just center it left to right so that both sides have a somewhat even border of cardstock around the edges. Then I'm going to take my third piece, which is my Cherry Cobbler cardstock, and I'm going to line that up even across the bottom and center it up left to right. Then I'm going to take my scissors, and what I'm going to do is lay this down here on my Stampin' Up! Paper and find this center point here, and then line my edges up on either, well, you know what, as a matter of fact, I'm going to make it even easier on myself. This end of the Stampin' Up! Pad actually has a 0 on it, so it makes it so much easier to find your center point. Okay, so I found it right there. I'm going to take a pen and just make a little mark. That's going to be cut on, so you're not going to see that ink anyway. Then I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut straight up through the center, and that's probably about 3/4, maybe 7/8 of an inch. It doesn't have to be exact. Then I will separate them, and I'll start out here at this corner, and I will trim straight in to the top of where I made that center cut. And I'm going to do that on both corners. So see, if I had the punch, I would just slide this in and snap it and it would be done. So you guys, I would just highly recommend that if you would like to make projects like this with a banner edge, please invest in the punch. Don't do like me and think you can put it off. It's just so much faster and makes your projects a lot easier and quicker to do. So I do that on all 3 of these pieces, and then we will start layering them. I didn't quite snip that enough. And I have to tell you guys, oh my gravy, it is so freezing cold outside today. Well, it has been all week, so over the weekend, and I am looking out my window and the ground is just covered in frost. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some multi-purpose glue for this today. Run some across the top of that. Designer Series paper, line it up across the top edge even, and then centering it. And then I also look down here at the bottom to make sure that it's centered all the way down. Then take my Cherry Cobbler cardstock, and we're going to do the same thing with that. Line it up even at the top, center it, make sure that it's looking good all the way. Oopsie, I slid it. Making sure that it looks good all the way down on both sides. If not, then I just give it a little push, get it centered up better. Then this little piece here, this was the 3 1/4 by 1 inch. What I did was I came in on the bottom edge and marked a 1/2 inch there, and on the top edge and marked 1/2 inch there. And I'm going to put my scissors right there and line it up with that ink mark that I made, and I'm going to trim straight down to that opposite corner, okay, just like that. Then I'll turn it around, line the edge of, or the inside of my scissors up with that dot I made, trim straight down to that opposite corner. And so then, I don't know, this shape has a name, but I don't know what it is, but you'll have this shape. Then let me grab my piercing mat, because the photopolymer stamps much crisper and cleaner when I use the piercing mat to stamp on top of. So I've got the Surprise. I'm using this sentiment out of the 10 of tags. Any of those would be great, but because I want this to go across my tag, I'm deciding to use this long, skinnier sentiment. And of course, the special delivery or the to or from would be fine to use too, but this is the one that I'm choosing for today. So I'm going to get that inked up really good in my Cherry Cobbler, and hopefully I will stamp this right the first time and I won't have to redo this. So I'm just going to try to line up my Surprise, center that as well as I can, give it a good press. Ah, it came out great. So excited. Okay, let's move this out of the way. All right, so I'm going to set that there because that is where I plan on putting that. Now I could turn it this way, or I could let it go straight across. I think I'm going to go straight across with it today. So here comes the glue dot. You know that I use these so much because I love them. And you could pop this up with a dimensional if you would like to, but I'm just choosing just to use a glue dot today. I'm just going to stick a couple of those on there and put that Surprise right across there. Then I'm going to grab my Cherry Cobbler and my gold baker's twine. And I'm using the gold because I just wanted a little bit of sparkle in there. And what I'm going to do is unscroll a good little bit of that. So I have my baker's twine here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it around my fingers a couple of times. And what that leaves me with when I pinch it in the middle is a double loop on this side and a double loop on this side. So there's 2 gold and 2 Cherry Cobbler strands on each side. And then I'm going to grab another piece of my Cherry Cobbler, just, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches. And I'm going to lay my loops right on top of that cherry cobbler, and then I'm going to tie this in a knot around the center of all of those strands, making my bow. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward there. And then all of these little excess pieces, I'm just going to snip those off. Then what I'm going to do next is take my 1/16 of an inch hole punch and punch a hole in the center, and I'm just eyeballing this. I'm not worried about being exact because I can look and tell pretty much where the center point of this paper is, because I kind of try to line it up with the V in that end. Then take a piece of my cherry cobbler. So what I have here is a little bitty crochet hook, and I use this to pull my baker's twine through this small hole because it makes life so much easier. So I put my crochet hook from the back in through the hole to the front, then I grab a hold of my baker's twine with that hook and pull it through. You can't get much easier than that. Then I open up that loop and slide my loose threads through it, and then just pull it, and there you have it. Then gonna grab another glue dot, stick that right on top of where I placed that hole. Make sure my bow is turned right side up because the knot will be on the back. Squish that down into that glue dot, and there you have it. Your gift tag is done. So I really like this one better because I can see the word surprise on it easier. You know, you may like this style better. I think either of these would be totally acceptable on the outside of a package, but I just wanted to give you an idea of a gift tag that you could make kind of on the fly, last minute, if you needed something walking out the door. So this is an idea for you to do for a last minute gift. So you guys, I would love it if you would head on over to my blog, and you can get the measurements as well as the instructions on how to create this gift tag. And I would love for you to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you don't mind. I have a goal to get 3,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel by the end of June 2017, and I would appreciate you subscribing. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.